Would it make your life harder to know that if you make a mistake, the punishment might be visited on your children and grandchildren? That was the last thing on John's mind when his adventures lead him to a fabulous treasure that would change his family's lives for generations. Join us tonight as we talk about generational curses and one particularly famous case.
Hello and welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Deceptive Reality Podcast. Are you ready to get going with me, Nick, and the phenomenal Burt?
Woo! Yeah.
Oh,
Nick,
yeah. I'm
Nick
really amping that up.
He's coming out with fire,
those
boys.
claps are gonna those claps are gonna mess up your little track there, though.
No, it's not.
No,
it ain't going to. Nick, listen, I'm a professional.
That's true. That is
audio
true.
Master. Do you actually know how you fix that? Not that anyone's gonna care, but do you know how you do that?
I would like to know.
So what you do is when you go to master your audio, you take out the entire section where the clapping happens, you master the back end of it, and then you add it to the entire front end.
Oh, that's smart.
That is smart. Audio talk right there, boys and girls. Anyone's got a podcast, that's how you do it. Just FYI.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I want to learn these things. We're going to spend the next hour and a half just talking about audio tricks.
Yeah. Listen, all you podcasters out there, you get to learn the tricks of the trade today. No unsolved mysteries, boys and girls. That's a lie.
That's what you're getting for free this week.
We keep some of our things secret.
Yep. Actually, we lied. I just said you're getting something for free. You're being part of an experiment this week.
Ooh.
I'm running an experiment on you all.
Experiments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually
and it's going to be really cool.
They don't always work well for the participants.
No. I don't know if it's going to work well for anyone. It's either going to be really cool or it's going to flop.
So a typical podcast for us, by the sounds of it.
Well, I guess that's kind of how it always is. But I'm gambling a little. I'm putting extra on red tonight. So we'll see how it works out.
Hey, I like it. Listen, I love a little adventure. Yeah. We last week, for all y'all that listen, we did something new. Nick got to choose what our story was. Now he's trying something new. There's all kinds of things happening new in the world of deceptive reality.
That's right. Yeah, we're making a game of it.
We really are. This is the big time. This is how you know there's things happening on our side. When you see stuff like this,
that's right.
Brand new innovative technologies and stuff. I just want Sword to come out with their little videos. That's what I want.
Oh, that would be so good, wouldn't it?
It would.
It's got to be soon.
Man, I don't know. I thought the same thing about Stranger Things 5, and I just saw that it's coming out in 2025.
Oh, jeez. I know. Oh, you want to know what's a bigger tick off than that?
What?
I don't know if you're a fan of Cobra Kai.
Yes. Well, I watched the first season. Wasn't there 2 seasons?
We're on season 4, which is the final season.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, she watched at least 2.
Yeah. Well, take your time because they're splitting the final season, the 4th season and final season into 3 parts. And they release the first part now, meaning I've got to wait till I think it's December to get the second part. And then well into 2025 to finish it off.
That's crazy. I don't understand why someone would do that. That'd be nuts, man. Why do that to the people? That'd be like if we put out a 3-part.
Yeah, like soon. It could happen. Don't you doubt.
Never know.
Yeah. Never know. I mean, I know Bert's just itching to do it. He loves doing those long ones.
I love doing long ones. I can tell you this much. The next one, I told Nick the time after that one, I'm going to let him choose again like he did last week.
Yeah, I like that.
For you guys, it'd be 2 weeks ago. But to make it more fun, the next one that we do is going to be one that I choose. And that one, I believe the narration was 25 minutes, but they're long narrations.
Ooh, boy. This one's got some long narrations too, but not 25 minutes long, I'm pretty sure.
Well, here's what I do know. If the next one that we do is not something that you talk about for the next 6 months, I've done something wrong.
Is it about long legs?
No. I had to think.
Do you know about long legs?
No.
Oh, it's this movie everyone's raving about. Nicolas Cage is a serial killer in it. You've not heard of this?
No.
Dude,
I'm
it's getting
stuck in our
rave
podcast.
reviews.
What are you talking about?
But this movie is like the movie of a lifetime. It is now my favorite movie.
What's it on? Is it on like Netflix or something?
It's on theater. Meaning you got to go to a theater.
Nick, I wake up, I do my day job. I come home, got a new podcast. Then I go to bed, then I wake up. I don't have time to go to a theater, Nick.
You got to take a break and take your wife to see Long Legs. I bet she knows what it is.
I wonder if it's on one of those, you know how some of those movie things like Paramount Plus lets you watch movies that are in the theaters? I wonder if it's on there.
Oh, I don't think, but it's possible. I'm not sure. I know as soon as I got done watching it, I wanted to turn around and go back in and watch it again because there was so much that you can miss. Like I've watched probably about 15 videos on YouTube since then where it's like 20 things you missed in Long Legs. And I'm just like, how did I miss these things?
Is it like gritty? Is it a gritty movie?
It's like, it's a lot along the lines of Silence of the Lambs where, you know, like, what's that?
It's like an implied actions. Like you're not watching him kill all these people.
No, you never see him kill anyone.
Yeah. So it's just implied. So it'd be similar to like, it's not like, what is it? American Horror Story where you're watching him killing people the entire time.
No, it's not like particularly gory like that or anything.
Yeah.
It's mostly a crime thing because you're going along with the FBI agent and she's trying to figure out what's going on because right from the get-go, you know who it is, but you got to find out the why, the how, all that kind of. I don't want to say too much more on it, but you've got to see it.
He's a serial killer. That's the why. Like easy one on that one.
There might be more. There might be more. I'm just saying.
Anything's possible. I will tell you.
We covered some news, so there we go.
That is true. Listen, I'll tell you this much. My next one has a death in it.
Oh. Wait, don't they all mostly?
No. UFOs and stuff, we don't have no deaths in those.
That's true. There could be, though.
Well, there could be. Anything's possible.
If I get my hands on them.
That Nick's a serial killer.
For aliens. Only aliens.
With his crossbow in hand.
That's right.
Savage.
As long as they ain't got robots, that's all I ask. No robots. That's right. I'm an Earth savage. That's what I am.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We all need a protector.
Right.
You're the protector of the stone.
Yeah, I'm defending the planet.
That's right. I'm glad someone is.
I don't care if they come in peace. That ain't my problem.
They'll leave in pieces.
That's right. That's my tagline on my movie.
Nick's making a movie, by the way.
Oh, I want to. I'm working on it.
He's in the process. How exciting is that?
Mostly I'm in the stage where I'm just spending lots of money.
Yeah.
That's the stage I'm at.
Don't worry, folks. I got him signed for another year, guaranteed, before he makes the big time.
I got one of those Scientology contracts with Deceptive Reality.
That's
like
right.
I got to work for 1,000,000 years after I pass away even. So
exactly. Listen, it's part of the game.
Yep.
Part of the gig.
Yeah. Yeah. Bert said there was a boat. He ain't showed it to me yet, but I believe him.
You'll see it eventually. It's fine. It's fine.
I've got to get to rank 12 before I see the boat. I know.
And he's at rank 4. Listen, he's right around the corner, folks.
That's right. Yeah. And each of these books that he keeps selling me are like $10,000 a piece. It's crazy.
Hey, that's how you make your way to the boat. It's not my fault.
Yeah,
I didn't make the rules. Okay.
Yeah. At least I got to meet Tom Cruise. No, just kidding.
And I told him he could get 0.25% if this episode is good.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
That's
I'm
big.
on it.
That's big.
That's why I'm gambling. Tonight.
Oh, man.
Speaking of crazy adventures, do you want to get into this one?
You best believe. Before we do that, Nick, remember those books back in the day where you'd read it and at the bottom it would say, if you choose this, go to page 6. If you choose this, go to page 14.
Choose your own adventure.
That could be like this.
I love those so much. That's what sparked my joy of reading, I think.
You know what I wanted to do, Nick, a long time ago? This is back when I was streaming video games. I want to play Telltale's The Walking Dead. And at the end of every single option, I would create another video that had a clickable link to where the viewer chose.
That would be neat. There's Silent Hill Revelations, I think it is. It was a TV show where people voted on choices, and whatever people voted on, the next episode would follow that path.
Man, we should do.
You can watch it all now for free, by the way.
We should do something like that.
Oh, yeah. If we could animate, it would be real easy. But, well, we'll think of something.
Yeah. Either way, let's get on this episode. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, let's see what this is about. Or let's see if you know what this is about.
This is our adventure.
In the year 1842, a curious and adventurous man named John found himself wandering the Emerald Hills and rugged coastlines of Ireland. John, a well-traveled scholar with a penchant for history and folklore, had arrived in a small, mist-shrouded village. Nestled in a valley surrounded by ancient oak forests, the town seemed like a place lost in time. One evening, as John sat by the fire in the village inn, the local storyteller, Seamus O'Malley, began recounting tales of old. Among the stories, one particular legend caught John's attention. It spoke of a hidden treasure of gold buried somewhere on the borders of the town. Seamus explained.
Long ago, when invaders threatened our lands, the villagers buried a vast treasure of gold to keep it safe. It is said to be hidden somewhere within the town. But beware, for if the gold is taken, a curse will follow the family of the one who takes it.
John's eyes sparkled with intrigue. A hidden treasure, guarded by a curse? It was a challenge he couldn't resist. He spent the next few days gathering information from the villagers, piecing together clues from fragmented stories and old maps. With his keen intellect and methodical approach, he began to formulate a plan. One night, under the cover of darkness, John set out with a lantern, a shovel, and a heart full of anticipation. He had deduced that the treasure was likely buried in a place that held significant meaning to the villagers, a place both hidden and protected. His search led him to the ancient oak grove at the edge of the village. The trees, gnarled and twisted with age, stood like silent sentinels guarding a forgotten secret. John felt a shiver of excitement as he began to dig at the base of the largest oak. Hours passed, and just as dawn began to break, his shovel struck something solid. With trembling hands, he uncovered a weathered chest, its surface etched with symbols of protection and warning. Inside, glittering in the early morning light, lay the fabled treasure. Gold coins, jewels, and artifacts of incredible beauty and value. John's heart raced. He had found it. Ignoring the old legend's warning, he took the treasure and made his way back to his home and wife, concealing his find from prying eyes. That night, he dreamed of wealth and adventure, but also of ominous shadows and whispered curses. Come whatever else, this was the last night John's family ever had to worry about finances.
So do you know this story at all?
He sounds like a doggone leprechaun to me, Nick. Is he a leprechaun?
He could be. It's this is Ireland, which I realize now I neglected to mention in that whole long narrative.
Yeah. No, you said it.
Yeah, this took place in Ireland. Did I?
You said that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I was listening. I'm like, I don't hear it say Ireland anywhere here.
Yeah, I said it right at the very beginning.
But okay, good.
Before
So we're off on a little adventure.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Is that what it made you think of?
I also thought of a leprechaun, Lord of the Rings. So,
So the scenario on here, and there's actually a lot of stories in folklore and even some fiction writers capitalized on this, is that in like the UK, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, they used to sometimes bury things that were of value to them.
sure.
And they thought it would cause protection against invaders and that kind of thing. So there, I think there's a famous story by M.R. James, if you know that famous horror author from a long time ago, where basically they buried 3 crowns around this town to protect it from invaders. And then a guy goes and digs it up. And I can see that either that this story probably influenced that, or this story was influenced by that, or one of these ways.
It seems like all these movies, they're not thought up by some Hollywood producer. They're almost always from something. Always.
Oh,
Freddy Krueger.
Folklore. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jason Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that I think shocked me the most was, and I told you about this, Scream. Scream was created from a serial killer.
Oh, yeah. I've got a funny story about Scream, if you're interested.
Of course I'm interested, yeah.
I know that you used to play a lot of Dead by Daylight, and I do as well.
Yeah.
And you know that they got Ghostface in that, right?
Correct, yeah.
Do you know that they approached the Scream franchise to get Ghostface and they said no? They denied him?
What?
Yeah.
Then how do they have that mask then in the game?
Well, because Scream used a mask that was already in production before their movie came out. So Behavior, the people from behind Dead by Daylight, went to the mask and costume company and said, hey, can we license this mask?
That's
and
genius.
That's funny. They've got the same name. They've got the same costume, everything. So they probably paid like $40 for it too. So
probably. Wow.
They missed out big time.
What do they call that killer?
Ghostface.
You would think they would not be able to get past that trademark.
Well, that's what the mask was called.
Oh, you're kidding. So even oh man, they really screwed up bad then. I just thought it was the likeness.
No, they took the whole thing. And what's funny is I remember wearing that mask for Halloween before those movies ever came out. And then when I saw him in the movie, I'm like, that's real familiar.
This all looks like I've done this before.
Yeah, and that's why they've got so many cosmetics for Ghostface, because they can do whatever they want.
It's kind of like Michael Myers to a degree, because that was just a William Shatner mask. Yeah, but I guarantee it would be harder to get rights from William Shatner than it would be to get from the Halloween people. Oh, for sure. I'm just saying how they reuse all that stuff.
I know. Well, that's what you got to do in these small budget films.
That's what I was going to say. Small budget in the beginning, man. You're just using whatever you get your hands on. So
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But yeah, so back on this story, I mean, this sounds like a full story on its own, because how many times do we say, oh, and he got the treasure and got away with it?
Right.
Not
I agree.
very often.
That never happens. That never, ever happens.
Yeah.
Unless he's leprechaun.
But this is like part of a very, very famous story, and I'm going to ask you this after each segment. Do you know what we're talking about?
No clue. Zero clue.
Okay, good. So far my experiment's working.
Yes.
Because I don't want you to know yet.
Unless,
I don't want you to know yet.
Unless.
I
might have it, Nick. I've been thinking. Because I was listening real intently.
Right.
Lucky Charms guy.
All right, cancel the episode.
Yes.
You got it.
I'm so good at this game.
No. Far off. More famous than even the Lucky Charms guy.
Scrooge McDuck.
Dang it. No, not Scrooge McDuck.
Well, I'm out of options at this point. So far.
Well, that's okay. So, I mean, I want you to go to the fourth segment without knowing. That's my goal.
Segments. Hey, I like it.
To the fourth segment. I don't think it's possible. I think you're going to get it before we get there.
Maybe. Listen, Nick, I don't know everything, especially when it comes to Ireland. Ireland folklore. Good luck.
Yeah. So, but I did give away one spoiler in this, in that his family never had to worry about money ever again.
That's true.
This treasure started them off. They never have to worry about money again. And that carries on to modern times.
This was back in the 1800s.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Thinking really hard.
It's a long story.
I guess so. I'm trying to think of all the Irish people. Conor McGregor. Is it Conor McGregor's family?
It's Conor McGregor himself.
Dang,
he's actually immortal.
It's like a vampire.
No. Yeah. Conor McVampire. All those. No, I wouldn't do another vampire story to you. I know you hate those. You hate those guys.
Listen, with you, Nick, anything's possible. I know how you are.
Yeah. I wouldn't subject you to that again. I just had to try it at once to see if I could make you like the vampire, but you weren't really into it.
No.
So, no.
Vampires.
But, yeah, no vampires at all in this story. Not even close. In fact, this is the opposite of vampires.
It's a werewolf.
No. I mean, you know how a vampire lives forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are not going to.
Oh, dang it. I was just growing attached to him.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, shoot.
Do you want more clues? Maybe you'll get it in the next segment.
I don't think I will, but yeah, sure, Nick. Listen, we can try.
All right. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Ignoring the legend's warning, John took the treasure and left the town, eager to share his newfound wealth with his beloved wife, Honey. For a while, their fortunes soared. John and Honey's financial standing improved dramatically, and they moved into a grand house, their wealth seemingly multiplying with each passing day. Yet, unbeknownst to them, their actions had set in motion a series of tragic events. Shortly after John stole the treasure, the village from which it came was struck by a great calamity. The potato blight that would become known as the Great Famine devastated the village, causing crops to wither and food supplies to vanish. Once a thriving community, the town became one of the first towns to be abandoned as its inhabitants succumbed to starvation and disease. As the village fell into despair, John's family began to suffer a series of misfortunes. His youngest son fell gravely ill and passed away despite their newfound wealth and the best doctors around. Then, their daughter was taken by a fever that swept through their town. Each tragedy seemed to echo the curse that had been foretold, a relentless reminder of the treasure's dark warning. Desperate to escape the curse's grip, John and Honey decided to leave Ireland behind. They sold their estate and used their wealth to book immediate passage to America, hoping to start fresh. The journey was long and arduous, filled with uncertainty and sorrow at their recent losses, but they believed it was their only chance for redemption. Upon arriving in America, they settled in a bustling city, far from the haunting memories of the cursed town. Yet, the shadows of their past lingered. While their financial fortunes continued to grow, the weight of their losses hung heavily over them. John could not forget the lives that had been claimed, the family members they had lost to the famine's cruel touch. One night, as they sat together in their new home, Honey spoke softly.
John, perhaps the treasure was never meant to bring us happiness. Perhaps it was meant to teach us a lesson about greed and the true cost of wealth.
John nodded, his eyes filled with regret.
I wish I had heeded the warning, Honey. I wish I had never taken that cursed gold.
In the years that followed, John and Honey dedicated themselves to helping others in an attempt to atone. They used their wealth to support immigrant communities, providing food, shelter, and opportunities for those in need. As their wealth continued to grow, they also gained popularity and became entrenched in high society, known for their honesty, kindness, and devotion.
Got it.
You got it?
Johnny Appleseed.
Close, but not even a bit like that.
John Quincy Adams.
No. Nope. No. So the answer to that question for this segment is no, you still don't know who it is, I'm guessing.
Listen, I had two strong guesses.
Two strong
Okay.
guesses. Well, see, now they're on your home turf. You should have a better chance of guessing now.
Yeah.
Because you said you didn't know about Ireland. Well, this is America now. And in fact, the music's going to change on the next part, so it's American music.
Can't believe it wasn't John Quincy Adams. I thought for sure that was going to be it because they said high society.
Nope.
Can't get no higher than president.
Nope. That's true. That is true.
Johnny Appleseed, too.
So let's. He was president?
No, but he planted a lot of trees. I mean, that'll get you to high society right there.
That'll get you there, especially if the trees grow high.
I mean, he did wear a pot on his head, so.
I do remember that. My remembrances of Johnny Appleseed are very patchy, to say the best.
Yeah, he was. Some people believes he was potentially mentally challenged.
Well, that's what my memories would suggest of him. But does the stories of Johnny Appleseed seem to suggest that America wouldn't have apples without this guy?
That was what I was taught as a kid, and I've determined that might not be true.
No, I think it's not, because we also have apple trees, by the way.
Yeah, kind of funny how that happens. I don't remember him crossing that border.
Yeah. We've got a place that's kind of famous. It's called The Valley, which is Annapolis Royal and stuff like that. And that's just apple trees for as far as the eye can see. And I don't think that guy was there.
Probably not there. But
I don't remember any pothead passing through.
Yeah, they didn't tell that part of the story either.
No.
Until I was much later in life. I was like, he wore a pot on his head? Like, that's...
Yeah. Do you think they were alluding to something with that?
No, like he wore a legit like pot like you'd cook in on his head.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if like in 150 years from now, when people read our books and they say pothead and stuff like that, they're going to think people were wearing pots on their heads or something. Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. They did say...
It's just a bunch of Johnny Appleseeds.
Yeah, that's the truth. They did say that the next war after this one would be fought with sticks and stones. So... Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Who knows?
That's a neat one.
I don't think that's neat at all, Nick. These things are going to go real bad real quick.
Nah, it'll be exciting. Don't you want excitement in your life?
Not that much excitement, Nick. I'd rather keep it anti-excitement in a case like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. I think you better get used to the idea, though, just by how things are. Yeah, but let me recap a little bit of what just went down.
Yep, ready?
So he takes the treasure from this town.
He brought a curse on it.
And well, they told him, they said, hey, you're going to get heavily cursed if you take this away. But they also told them this was the thing that was protecting their village. So he takes that out of there. They don't know what's happened. As far as they know, that thing's still there. And it could be coincidence It might be, it might not, but just like I think a year or two after that, the potato famine starts, and it starts there. And that's like the first town, or one of the first towns that were like completely abandoned.
Bad sign.
Everyone had to go. So that's a big coincidence.
Yeah, that's a bad sign. Things are not going as planned.
No, they're not going as planned. And he gets home, and no matter what they do, they've got that treasure, and they buy a big home and they start businesses, and they can't lose. No matter what they do, everything they put their money into grows their money. They're getting richer and richer by the day. It's like they've got the Midas touch for business. However, in the story of Midas, he's kind of cursed through because he touches his kids, I think, and they turn to gold or what have you. But all the money in the world can't save his kids from the sicknesses that they get just another year or so after. All related to the potato famine. So, not good.
Man, this sounds like Ramses II in Passover.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. But, it's weird. They're prospering, but good thing they had big families. And they did have a big family, and they're going to have more kids. But they were like, we got to get out of here. They're not totally on board that the treasure did all this, but his wife is kind of like, maybe this treasure wasn't to do good for us. Maybe it was trying to teach us about greed. Like, you did steal this treasure.
Facts.
And he's like, I wish I hadn't done that. But I don't think they're thinking curse. I think they're thinking punishment from God kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
For that.
Yeah.
They're not thinking curse yet.
They better get on that page.
But they better get on that page because, again, spoiler alert, this is only the second segment. So clearly more things are going to happen to them.
Clearly.
But what's your thoughts on curses? Do you think it's like that's a thing that exists?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's biblical.
Do you think like witches can do it? Yeah, there's a lot of biblical stuff on it. I looked up and found out with this. In fact, we've talked about them before. Like you just said, Passover, that's kind of a curse. The locusts and the frogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those curses are brought down by a god. Do you think like witches and voodoo people can do curses or? Yeah.
1,000%.
Do you think it's still going on to this day? Like people are cursing people and stuff? Okay.
I actually know one of those stories. I actually know two of those stories. Yep.
Okay. Have you done them on your podcast, or is that like outside that realm?
Yeah, it's outside the realm. It doesn't really fit.
Yeah. Can you mention a little bit about it? I'm curious about that.
So I knew a guy. This was goodness.
Oh, this is a personal one.
Yeah, I know two personal stories. One was told to me. Oh, and I know one personally myself.
Well, definitely you can be vague about it. I'm just real curious.
Yep. So I knew a guy. I had a trying to think of how I can put this without putting too much info out there. I wasn't high up in the job that I had. I was kind of middle of the way is how I'll put it. And we had a person that was relatively newer, and it was a female, and she had, I think she was from, where was she from?
Oh, don't say Ireland.
No, it wasn't Ireland. I want to say she was from the Dominican Republic or Haiti or someplace like that. I can't remember exactly where she was from. But we had
Haiti's got a lot of voodoo and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We had a finance guy that I don't know that he disliked her. He was just very kind conservative is how we'll put it. And she kept thinking that he was screwing her over on deals.
Oh, okay.
And eventually she said, you're going to pay for whatever it is. And we had just all thought it was funny. And I was always one of the first people that would come in the morning and unlock everything and get things going. And I unlocked the door. My office was, when you would walk in, would be to the left, and the other employees would be right there to the right. And when I walked in, I'll never forget this. On top of the desk was what looked like chicken legs and like a white powder. And there was like some other weird looking things on the desk. And I'm just sitting there looking at this going, what the heck is that?
Like cocaine chicken party.
Yeah, kind of was. I was kind of like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So I didn't think much of it. I just thought, because sometimes we would, what's the word I'm looking for? We would acquire things sometimes that we would have to open. And when we would open it, we'd be like, oh, what is this crazy thing? My thought was maybe somebody dropped this on the desk and it had like ash in it and these weird things. And they're like, oh, that's gross. I'm not cleaning that up.
Yeah.
And just dipped. So to be honest with you, I forgot. I moved on with my day and kind of kept it. The guy came in, saw it, and was like, what the heck is this? I'm like, I don't know what it is, dude. Anyway.
Yeah.
A month went by and we forgot. We cleaned it all up. He cleaned it up, not we. Okay. Bert didn't go anywhere near this, just FYI.
Good.
He cleaned this up and nothing happened for like a month.
Right.
It was like, it wasn't quite wintertime, but it was close. And it was like the first dew or like frost of the year. And there was apparently some like black ice on his steps and he fell and he fractured his leg.
No, that's not good.
I'm like, man, that's some bad luck, dude. I'm sorry. So he got into his little boot and yada yada. And then some more time went by and then he came down with like this, whatever this was. It was like bad. It was like bad.
Right.
Bad. It was like not a disease, but like a really bad, like stomach virus kind of deal.
Yeah.
And we're all in close proximity. So when someone gets sick, you're like, oh God.
Here we go again.
I'm gonna catch this. Sitting there with a Lysol, spraying it around your desk, trying to create your Lysol force field. You know what I'm saying? But none of the rest of us caught it. And then there was another time he came in and it was like not very long after, maybe a few weeks or a month later, he burnt the life out of his hand. He was pulling something out of the oven. And when he pulled it out, it like splashed over onto his arm and like 3rd-degree burns all the way down his arm.
Wow.
So we was all sitting in that office and it wasn't long after that. And we started thinking, and he goes, none of this happened. Like I didn't have this bad of luck until we found all that stuff on my desk. And I said, wait a second. Didn't old girl say that she was gonna, like maybe, like you would regret not doing those deals? And at that point, we'd already fired her for something else.
Right. Well, I was thinking she wasn't around if you're...
Yeah, she wasn't around at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what she got fired for. She got fired for something stupid.
Was it long after that thing was found or right near then?
Believe it or not, she was still there during that, but it couldn't have been much after that. It's maybe like a month or so after that. She was no longer there.
Yeah.
But he had like 2 or 3 more. He got into a car accident.
Oh, boy.
Which he didn't cause. But it was just him. It was always him. Like the car, he was the only one in the car. The lag, he got sick. I mean, it was just virus. It was just thing after thing after thing. He went to somebody that does this sage stuff because he truly did believe at that point he had some
smudging. Yeah.
At that point, he thought that there was something that had to have happened. And lo and behold, that happened. No more issues. All the issues went away.
Oh, just like that.
Just like that. Now, maybe that was just dumb luck. Or maybe that was a curse. I don't know. Either way, I don't mess with the whole voodoo thing. I stay far away from it because I don't know. Okay. If Bert don't know, Bert don't go. That is my motto. If Bert don't know, Bert don't go. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just in general, be polite to voodoo people.
1,000%.
Like if someone says I'm a voodoo priest, I'll be like, well, I'm genuinely happy to meet you, and I'm very interested in what you're talking about. But I definitely wouldn't be rude to them.
No, if they got witch in their name, warlock, voodoo.
See, it's easy for me because I'm genuinely interested in those types of people. I want to be their friends. But you're like, you wouldn't like them probably because they're evil.
Oh, no, I love them. Every single one of them.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. Yes, he loves you so much.
Yeah. Whenever I hear voodoo, I think, I'm not the one who's so far away when I feel listening by.
That's a callback.
It is. It's such a good song.
Wow.
There used to
I haven't thought about that in ages.
There used to be a ghost show that had that as the opening theme song.
What was that? I do know that.
Was it Celebrity Paranormal? Is that what that show was?
No.
Where the celebrities
I'm sure
went in?
it wasn't that. No. Man. It was something that we got too, though. Oh, I don't know what it was. You guys didn't
get Celebrity Paranormal or Celebrity?
We did.
Yeah.
We did, but it wasn't on that. That's how I know it wasn't that one. Man. But it was something else that I used to watch regularly.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to go back in my archive and figure out what that was. I used to get hooked on that show, though. Oh. And the theme song.
I did too. I wish I could remember it.
Me too. I'd go, voodoo, 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 voodoo.
I knew, I didn't get to go near him because people weren't allowed to go near this guy.
Mr. Rob Zombie?
Nope. Although I did speak to him once, by the way.
Yeah.
But he was a nice guy. But there was this guy who lived where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I'll just use his last name because his first name's so unique that people might guess who it is. His last name was McGray.
Okay.
And no one would ever talk about how this happened, but they'd said that he had cut off a witch or something like that, or swore at a witch or something. Like, people were vague about this, and she cursed him. And it was a bad one because people wouldn't go near him because he got struck by lightning 6 separate occasions. Like, and
your first
the wild thing is it never happened when he was on his own. Like, it's not like he got hit by lightning and someone found him in a field. If someone started to talk to him and they started to get too friendly and nice to him, it would strike him right next to them.
No.
And they'd call the ambulance, and then that person would probably not talk to him again. And that happened like 6 times. And if people went to visit him at his house, like a telephone pole would all of a sudden crack and fall on their car, or just anything like that. And he lived near a whole bunch of people, but no one would go near him. We weren't allowed to say his name. Like, no one was allowed to say his name in the whole community.
I can't say I blame whoever came up with that genius idea.
So that curse worked good because no one would go near him. You weren't allowed to say his full name. Like, you could say his first name, you could say his last name, but you couldn't say both of the names together. In fact, part of why I'm only saying his last name is because I don't want to say both of them together.
I bet Nick has probably done it in a dark room in a mirror.
That's when that telephone pole landed on me.
Man, that's crazy. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about that. I don't mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah. I kind of see, it's a rough thing to admit as someone who tries to be a little skeptical that you think that curses could be a thing. And I blame a mild form of OCD on it. Like, I think, like, when I go to work, I think if I enter this store in the morning and leave this store in the afternoon, my day will go good. Like, that's obviously can't be true, but I believe that kind of thing. It might be. People who come in the other door, bad things happen to them. So
see, I mean, call it coincidence if you want to.
Yeah. There's things we just don't understand, right?
Well, the Bible does talk about curses, though, Nick. It talks about the curses of our father and how we will pay the ultimate, not the ultimate price, but we'll pay for the curses of our fathers, is what Scripture says.
Up to 4 generations.
Yep. So it's one of those things where not even something we did, but something that potentially our great, great, great grandfather has done.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to hear that real soon.
Man, it's like I'm a biblical scholar.
You are a biblical scholar. Are you interested to how things went? Maybe they got to America and everything's fine. Like, this is the land of opportunity. Like, you guys are pretty lucky to live there. Maybe they got lucky to live there.
No way, man. That's not how these stories go. We know that already, Nick.
Well, but I'm not promising one way or another.
But at the end of this one, I'm going to know who it is because I have to have it before 4.
Now in America, John and Honey had long passed away, leaving behind a legacy of compassion and philanthropy. Their surviving children were well known for their parents' charity work and honesty, which garnered them a significant amount of respect and admiration within their community. As their influence grew, many people began to request that they join politics to bring about meaningful changes in the government. Among their children was Joseph Sr., a charismatic and determined man who carried his parents' ideals close to his heart. With a growing number of supporters, he decided to run for office, determined to continue his parents' mission of helping others. His campaign gained momentum quickly, and it seemed inevitable that he would rise to a prominent position in government. However, behind the scenes, he carried a heavy burden. His daughter, Rosemary, had a difficult birth and was starved for oxygen, a fact that haunted the family. Although she seemed to grow up normally, her teenage years brought about a stark transformation. Rosemary became increasingly violent and unpredictable, her once gentle demeanor giving way to bouts of rage and confusion. Desperate to protect his political aspirations and the family's reputation, Joseph Sr. made a secret and selfish decision. Without informing the rest of the family, he arranged for Rosemary to undergo a lobotomy, a controversial and risky procedure he hoped would cure her. The operation was performed in secret, away from prying eyes and questioning minds. The lobotomy was botched. Instead of the intended result, Rosemary was left unable to speak or move, a shell of her former self. Joseph Sr., consumed by guilt and fear, decided to hide Eleanor away in a remote care facility, instructing the staff to keep her condition a closely guarded secret. He never spoke of her again, burying the pain and shame deep within his heart. As Joseph's political career flourished, the family maintained a facade of unity and virtue. They continued their charitable work and publicly upheld the values instilled by John and Honey. However, the secret of Rosemary's fate cast a long shadow over their lives.
So I ask you again, sir, what is this story?
I legit have no clue what this story is.
It might be, you know what? It might be the 5th segment that you find out. So you might have one more chance to guess. But
am I going to know who these people are, or is it going to be their ancestors I'm going to know?
Oh,
whoa.
Stop.
Whoa. Where's it going? Whoa, calm down.
That was a curse. Don't.
yeah. How's that possible? Do you know how long we talked before that hit?
I know, right?
How did that
There's
start?
no way that could be that long.
No.
Because I use the same clip every time.
Yeah, there's no way that's possible.
It's cursed, man. It's cursed. But I'll tell you what. This is definitely a generational curse. And that's the topic that we're talking about, although you still don't know the story.
No.
So John and his wife had a lot of kids, and they continue to pass away. This was the kid of his kid, so it's going down another generation on top of this.
Rung.
Yeah. So, and I know you caught this, but the most horrifying thing I thought about this is that, and if you see pictures of these girls, which you can look it up later, they're, beautiful teenage girls. There's 3 of them and they look perfectly normal. But this one girl was having, she'd get mad and frustrated. And really, that's something that maybe we'd call today, maybe mild autism or something like that, get overstimulated, get angry, that kind of stuff. But one day, didn't tell his wife, didn't tell the rest of the family, didn't tell anyone at all. He just packed her up in a car and took her way far away to a place where they were going to do an experimental brain surgery. I can't imagine the screaming and the horror when it was botched and he came back and told everyone what happened.
He continued his own curse at that point in time.
Really, he kind of deserved that. Well, no, she didn't deserve it, but he deserved that kind of thing. But all along, their fortunes continue to grow, and people don't know about this. This is something that came out later. Everyone was saying, "Oh, they're just like John and his wife. They're so kind and so honest, and all this stuff." When it comes to finances and when it comes to their social standing, they can't lose. They got a golden horseshoe up the butt. But that's not exactly the saying, I guess. But
I mean, listen, it's a new saying. It's a deceptive reality saying now, folks.
That's right. That's right. I'll make shirts on that too. But yeah, that's t-shirt. Horrible. I know. We need t-shirts for every episode, really.
Man.
But yeah, can you imagine that?
No.
What would, and I don't want you to think too deeply into this, but what would happen if you took one of your kids away and essentially just never brought them back? Your wife would probably be pretty upset.
I mean, I've thought from time to time about it, if we're being honest.
Is this back to when your daughter ate your bars or whatever they were? Yeah. Ice cream.
There's been many times after that I've had the thought too, Nick. Trust and believe.
Yeah. But do you know one crazy thing they used to do to sell lobotomies to people? What? To convince. They used to take before and after pictures of people who got lobotomies. But they'd switch them. They'd say, look how miserable this person is before they got their lobotomy. Look how happy they are after, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's evil. That's evil.
Is evil. A lot of times they would say,
they were doing it.
Once they'd put that ice pick in the front of their forehead,
yeah,
they would say that these people just glaze over and they were pretty much a vegetable.
Yeah. The best you could hope for is someone who's not really all there. Yeah. They're just sort of almost drunk or something. How people get drunk and they might smile and stuff like that. And
right.
I mean, there's a really good reason that just doesn't happen anymore. Right?
For sure.
We'd still be doing it if it did anything.
Well, it just goes to show sometimes medical science is not 100%. It's a case where, it's
for
trial
sure.
and error. It's unfortunately there's things that we wouldn't even imagine by today's standards. Then again, I feel like sometimes we get too far off the beaten path too.
Right. Well, a good example is they used to treat people with leeches.
Yeah.
And then for a long time they thought it was witchcraft, so they stopped doing it. And now they treat people with leeches again because it keeps the blood flow going. If you have to reattach different body parts and stuff. So,
correct.
We're always learning and modifying, but that's the scientific method. That's how you do things, right?
Well, and it's just like all the herbal stuff. A lot of, when you look at doctors and stuff, a lot of doctors are like, oh, this is all just, backyard medicines and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that they treat stuff with some of that stuff, so to each their own. I kind of do that myself. I mean, there's a lot of medications that I take that are, I call them medications. They're just over the counter stuff that, I can tell a difference in myself when I take them. So, some people say, well, that's placebo, or, well, if it's placebo, it's a real good placebo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something to be said for placebos. If it, like, they say that your mentality has a big effect on your, physical well-being. If you take a pill and it makes you think you're doing okay, that helps you.
And that's all that matters, really.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, it would actually be doing something else, but if it at least does that, how can we complain?
Correct.
But lobotomies, I think, is generally accepted to be bad.
Oh yeah, that's a bad idea.
And I don't think we're going to turn around on that anytime soon. But he essentially killed his daughter, kept her a secret because he didn't want to mess up the good things he had going.
It was his daughter's daughter, was it not?
It was. So John has passed away at this point.
Oh,
It was his children's daughter. Yeah, so right. Granddaughter is the way to say it. Yeah.
Granddaughter. Yep.
Yep. So, but I mean, eventually the family towed the line because they never talked about her again, publicly anyway. And he paid great deals of money to the hospital staff not to talk about this, because this only came out much later.
Yeah, they buried
people didn't really know. Yeah. And it wasn't hard for them to do because, like I said, their money keeps multiplying. Like it's weird that it's like a curse with this side benefit that, it is legitimately a benefit, but with what's going on, you just don't care. Like, I'm sure they don't care that they have all kinds of money. They'd rather have their daughter, their brothers, their sisters, that kind of thing. Money don't fix that kind of stuff.
Do we know how long John lived?
He lived to be quite old, actually. Like, in terms of people born in the 1800s, I think he lived to be like 80, 90 or something like that.
Yeah,
the curse didn't seem to touch them directly.
Yeah. Back then, if you lived past 50 is a miracle.
Oh, right. Yeah, it definitely was. But I wonder if that's almost part of the curse. Like, it let them stick around to see what the fruits of their labor was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his wife didn't really do anything, but she didn't make him put it back either. So
the old story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess he's Eve in this case, isn't he?
He is Eve in this case.
Yeah. So just to be extra sure, no idea what this story is.
Zero clue. I have zero. That segment didn't help me at all, Nick.
No, I thought it might, because we're getting closer to modern times, and I worry that will give you a clue.
I don't know no Rosemary's.
No one did. She was buried from history until much later.
I'm just saying, that's the only thing I got out of that segment. I don't know what else I would have got.
I remember hearing a lot of stories that people used to like, if something was wrong with a family member, they'd like chain them in their attics and stuff like that. And
what?
Like that was, you never heard of that kind of thing?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, back in the day.
In the United States?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it happened here too, but all the stories I heard about were you guys. But I know it happened here too.
Well, that's just because you put all the bad stuff on us, Nick.
That's true. That's how we keep our nice reputation.
Evil old Americans with their guns and all their activist stuff.
Everyone like comes to us and said, "Hey, I heard that you guys were chaining people with mental disorders in your attics," and I'm like, "No, that's the Americans."
That's some crazy old Americans, man.
Yeah, listen, I mean, just look at them, all the guns they got.
Yeah, and they eat syrup. They don't even eat the right syrup. They just eat pancake syrup. It's no good.
Right, and their gravy is white. The gravy's white.
What the heck is that?
And they eat horses in some states.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. That's
Sheesh.
wild. So they definitely got to be the ones doing this.
And there's no mooses there.
And there's no moose, which is a that good thing because they're dangerous.
Yeah. But we do have geese, which is equally dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the cobra chicken. We don't like those.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. But so...
no clue.
Oh, man.
Zero clue.
Getting off the topic, another thing that used to be in both Canada and the US is there was this list of things that you could get your wife committed to a mental institution for. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like reading a book, getting kicked by a horse, crying too much, like all these things you could get them committed for.
I know. We talked about this earlier, Nick. Some things, unfortunately, we did away with.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of things to complain about. Like, I think everyone gets like some fatigue with people talking about mental illness openly and stuff like that. But at least we're not doing all this horrible stuff we used to be doing.
Oh, you're saying it's a horrible thing. Oh, I got you.
Right. Wait, what?
Oh, I thought we was talking about getting our wives committed and stuff like that.
Oh. I was on to a different topic. That's a horrible thing. What are you talking about?
I got you. Yeah, for sure. 100% horrible.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of thing I'd expect from a white gravy eater. Just kidding. I tried that, America, and it is good.
It's amazing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
best, Nick,
yeah, it is.
You've had, obviously, you've had chicken fried steak.
Yes. Only once.
With white gravy on it. Then you get mashed potatoes also with the white gravy. And you got to have a biscuit.
Yep. I've had biscuits and gravy. That's why I had the white gravy, really.
Oh, yeah. No, you got to do country fried steak with the white gravy on top of it. Have you had a barnyard buster?
I don't know. I might have been drunk.
Generally, that's when you have a barnyard buster.
What is that? What is that?
Do you guys have a TJ's there?
Not that I'm aware.
TJ's Country Place. So here in the United States, we got a place called TJ's Country Place. It's open 24 hours a day. It's like a diner.
Yeah.
And one of their signature meals is called a barnyard buster.
Oh.
And what it is you have two options. You can put hash browns or you can have shredded potato. Okay. And then you have biscuit. You have eggs. And then on top of everything, you have sausage white gravy.
Whoa.
Now, with the eggs,
sounds like what I'd call a coronary.
It kind of is. But what I ask them to do is always do the eggs sunny side up, because when you pour the gravy over it, what I do is I cut into it and let the eggs sop into it, and then you eat it. And it's the most delicious thing. It's delicious.
That sounds good.
Delicious. Yeah. It's a must-have.
I've spent a little time. I've only had like one trip to America.
Yeah.
And stayed in Long Island, visited New York, and I gotta say, two things that I really appreciated about America. Actually, three. I found everyone there to be super friendly.
And you was in New York. That's amazing.
Yeah. So everyone was super friendly. Stayed with an Italian family, and they kind of scared me a little bit because they were talking about, they like to talk about fighting the cops a lot. But anyway, super friendly to me.
Thank God he wasn't a cop.
Yeah, really. And two, everything food related was just top. Like it was I could have had something that we have in Canada, and it was just a million times better in the US.
Yeah.
And this one I've told you before, and I don't think you believed me, and a lot of people don't, but I went down on the train and there was all litter on the sides of the track in Canada. And as soon as you cross the border, there wasn't a bit of litter.
Yeah,
not a bit.
Me. That shocks me.
Like,
Which,
I
by the
assumed
way,
you guys take your country like really pridefully and you don't allow litter.
it depends on where in the states you are. There's some states it's better than others. New York shocks me though, because my understanding is, and I've not been, so I can't confirm.
Right.
But I've always heard people talk about New York as being relatively dirty as far as states go. Now,
the city itself seemed okay. It didn't smell good, but it was the middle of summer.
sure,
The subway system was terrifying to me.
sure,
It wasn't like the subway system I was used to.
yeah, very fast pace, very
Yeah, and cramped more than other places.
very cramped, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're hoping next year we're going to get Nick out here and we're going to be going to New York.
Yeah.
But we'll be
gonna
in the
become,
countryside.
Yeah, which I think is a little better place for me to start out in. Like, I just hope that I don't tick anyone off and they shoot me. That's all I'm hoping for.
Well, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Nick. We got to see if there's a TJ's
Okay.
Country Place somewhere
Okay.
near. And then we're going to have some barnyard busters after these investigations.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm going to sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, here's what I thought, because I found out there's another haunted house not very far from Hinsdale.
Oh, okay. Well, they let us stay there?
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We do Hinsdale on a Friday night, and we do the second location on a Saturday night.
Sounds good to me.
We just knock them both out on the weekend, and then we come back on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I mean, especially once I'm there, just don't shoot me, bro.
Listen, we're going to be fine. Listen, Burt will be packing too. It's all good. We'll just shoot back at him, Nick.
Can I have a gun?
Yeah. Listen, it's complimentary. When you come over the border, everyone gets a gun.
Sweet. I can't wait. And a butterfly knife. I really want to play with a butterfly knife.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of our package.
Sweet. I'm down. Yeah.
But
that'll be fun.
It'll definitely be interesting. I'm shocked that was the case going to New York. We'll be on the countryside though. Hinsdale's in a very backwoods.
Rural.
Like it's hard to kind of find some stuff. So
it's like banjo music and stuff.
Oh, definitely not. No, that's way too far south for that, Nick.
Okay.
You got to go way further south.
Okay, that's fine then. That's good. I'm happy about that.
Man, I'm shocked I don't know who this is in this story.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think you got one more chance.
Over time, the family and some of their close friends began to wonder if they were cursed. The tragedies that seemed to follow them were too numerous to be mere coincidence. Whispers of a curse circulated, growing louder with each successive misfortune. Joseph Sr.'s son, Joseph Jr., dreamt of joining the family in politics. However, he chose to serve his country first and participated in World War II. Despite surviving more than 25 missions, he met a tragic end during a secret mission. Tasked with transporting an explosive on a plane, the device detonated prematurely, killing him instantly. The family was devastated, and the notion of a curse grew stronger in their minds. The family's other daughter, Kathleen, was next to suffer a mysterious fate. She had been traveling to Paris to introduce her potential husband to Joseph Sr. Tragically, the plane went down under mysterious circumstances, killing her. Her death further fueled the belief among many that the family was cursed. Religious folks pointed to biblical passages, suggesting that the family's misfortunes were the manifestation of a generational curse. They often quoted Exodus 25, which warned,
"You shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me."
These tragedies left a mark on the family, who continued to grapple with the idea that they might be paying for the sins of the past. The curse, whether real or imagined, hung over them, a constant reminder of the legacy of greed and ambition that had set their family's fate into motion.
All right, last chance.
How the heck heck am I supposed to get something out of that, Nick?
I'm so glad that you don't. That means my experiment is working. I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy. I almost want to go right to the last part, but we're not going to. So I'll recap this one again. Mm-hmm. So this is pretty wild. This son, he was set to follow in his father's footsteps. Mm-hmm. But he said, you know what? I want to serve this country that's been so good to us first. I'm going to join up in the war effort. And he was really good at his job. He did 25 missions. Like, if you look at people today, there's not many people doing 25 missions and stuff like that.
Yeah, very rare.
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the last one was a top secret mission where he was supposed to secretly transport an explosive that was going to be placed somewhere. And while they were in the plane, it just went off randomly. I don't know if something jiggled or whatever blew him up. Now, in my mind, I imagine that this is part of, I don't know if you ever saw, what was it, Operation Valkyrie, that movie, where they were trying to do all this stuff to kill Hitler and it just wasn't working. In my mind, it was a part of that, but it never said that. Yeah. Like, no one knew what the mission was because it was top secret.
Makes sense.
So he dies that way. We had the other poor girl who may as well be dead.
Christine?
Cause, I can't, what was her name?
Kathleen?
I forget her name, but something like that, but she got lobotomized.
Oh, you're talking about
no one talks
before.
about her.
Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary. And then we got the other girl who seems like she's doing okay. She met a pretty famous guy and was taking him to introduce him to her father, who happened to be in Paris at the time.
That's Christine.
And the plane just randomly goes down. Yeah.
I think it's Christine.
Yeah. So she passes away like that. So I think it is way too frequent that all these things are happening to him. It really does sound like a curse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I put in that Bible quote in there just for you, and I thought the voice did a really good job of that. That's a real good, scary Bible voice.
Yes, agreed. That's what Exodus will do to you, man. Exodus, man, it's got it's got some fire and brimstone.
Yeah, those are my favorite parts.
It's shocking.
When I've read that stuff, I like that.
It's surprising how many people, when they read the Bible, obviously they go Old Testament because Old Testament obviously comes first. They read it and they go, the Bible is such an evil thing. And I'm like, you're not really reading it in the right context because you don't understand context yet, but I get it. Yeah, I understand. It's definitely, there's some tough verses in there. There's some things that's kind of hard to swallow, definitely. But yeah, Exodus is tough. Leviticus is tough. There's a lot of
Leviticus is the one everyone quotes when they're trying to make you guys look nutty.
Yeah.
That's what people use Leviticus specifically for that.
Correct. And it's all out of context.
Because there is a lot of weird stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I mean,
I think
tattoos.
You got to admit that there's weird stuff.
Well,
the shellfish thing.
But there's a reason for all of it. That's what people don't understand. They take it out of context. Again, context is everything. It's like I say, when we're talking about scripture, we can't look at it based on today, right? We have to look at it from the time period. So people go, well, what's all this about tattoo and yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. And if you mark your body with tattoos, God hates that and you'll go to hell. And I'm like, it's not really what that meant. Like, that's not what the context of that meant.
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah. Like yours would be somewhat of a sacrilege, as they would put it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just because of what's entailed behind it is considered like an occult kind of thing.
Yeah.
But tattoos in general is not like, people just think getting a tattoo is bad, but it's based on the time period. So what was happening in the time period was there was, not that anyone cares, but in that time period, what was happening was there was a group of people that was worshiping another god. And what they was doing was tattooing like almost like the equivalent of like war paint on their heads, but specifically to this god. So what the God of the Bible was saying is, if you tattoo or imprint on your skin, and he was talking specifically to that group, he's saying, you should not be doing that.
Yeah.
And the same
that makes sense.
Same as cloth from different fibers. You know, everyone talks about how crazy is that? You can't wear silk and cotton at the same time. That's not contextually what they're saying, but we could go on a tirade for that on hours and hours, but
I do find that stuff interesting, but
it's definitely
I know what you're talking about. Like,
it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, you got to look at it through the lens of what was happening at the time.
Correct. Yeah. Not only that, but people, again, they don't necessarily always look at the context. It's like, even like sacrilege, like what yours having an occult thing on your skin. That's not a heaven hell thing.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of that.
But it's like, that's not a heaven hell thing. Like, that's just a frowned upon thing, right? It'd be no different than the things that's going on in my brain. According to biblical reference, you and I are on equal playing grounds, because I've got this thing up here. That's well, I mean, I've got an entire channel devoted to paranormal. That is in the Bible. You're not supposed to do that. So,
yeah.
Again,
I look at it as like, know thy enemy. Like you're knowing about the enemy.
See,
you're not supporting it.
That's how we justify it, but that's not what the Bible says.
That's right. That's right. I like to justify.
Listen, we all do, Nick. All us sinners, we love to justify. Yeah. Trust me, it's fine. It's I know the Bible says this, but listen, we're doing it for a good reason. God's like, nope, spite them.
What's that? That famous quote from The Devil's Advocate there, you know, with Pacino and stuff. He's like, look, but don't touch.
Yeah.
Touch, but don't taste.
Yeah.
Taste, but don't, like, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was really good.
There's a lot of stuff to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But even the people who agree on the stuff don't always agree on each part of it either.
No, of course not. You
like
can't.
It's and I think that causes confusion too.
For sure. No, I mean, we didn't. It'd be no differently than 200 years from now. People's going to look at what we do and they're going to say, "What?"
Yeah, I know, right?
That's crazy. But to us, it's everyday. Like, this is everyday stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if we lived 100 years ago, we'd be real darn sure that witches come by and sour our milk or something like that. Okay, maybe a little longer than 100 years ago, but
think about it.
200, 300 years ago.
Even 20 years ago. Think about it. Like trying to explain to our kids that, you know, the internet used to come through the phone line. Like, that is crazy talk.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. That's witchcraft. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, and this will all seem like a primitive time to future people, unless they're having that stick and stone war that you were talking about.
And we're going to get back to it, boys and girls. That's exactly what's said. That's prophecy.
Yeah. They'll be like, man, I wish I had my iPhone. And then sticks.
Exactly.
But I think one thing we can all agree on, it seems like there's a curse going on here.
100%.
And so you believe that generational curses are a thing, right?
Yeah, it's biblical. I have to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely what's going on here. There's other ones like the Bruce Lee one.
Yes.
You must have heard of that one.
Yeah, him and his son.
Yeah. Yeah. Although that never really went any further than that. So, like, I don't think
so.
Or did it go back before Bruce?
If it did, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about it. But maybe part of the curse is how they keep making awful Crow movies. Like, only the first one was really good.
I mean, it could be. It's very possible.
Have you seen trailers for the new one?
No.
Now, people are saying it don't look good. I think it'll be okay.
I'm always doing our podcast, Nick. I don't get to do any of the cool
That's
stuff.
true.
I just saw 2 weeks ago, maybe, the last Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
I liked it. A lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I've liked every Ghostbuster movie I've ever seen. Even the bad one.
I didn't like the one that was all women. I didn't like that one. It was okay.
I even like that one.
You know the reason I didn't like that
I'm easy
one?
to please.
I think the reason I didn't like that one, which is somewhat unfair, was because it didn't have a callback to any of the original OGs.
Yeah. Yeah. And they actually put one of the guys in there as a different character.
Yeah. And I didn't.
No, I can understand that.
So to a degree, because I'm one of those people that, like, I don't mind them having like cameos, but I feel like in Ghostbusters, like, you got to kind of do a callback to the OGs just a little bit.
Yeah.
It would be like...
well, they're really doing it now.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the new Jaws movie? The trailer for that?
No.
Apparently they're working on...
That's going to be wild.
Yeah, they're working on a Jaws movie, and there's some OG people from that coming back also, is what I hear.
Yeah, I'd be down to watch another one of those.
Yeah.
I hope they keep to the animatronic shark, but I know they won't.
Come on, let's think about it. There's freaking Sharknado. When you got Sharknado and people watch that, Jaws has to be able to work, okay?
Yeah, right?
I have a tough time.
It's got to.
I have a tough time when they remake movies. Like if they made another Back to the Future, let's use that as an example.
Right.
If Michael J. Fox wasn't in there, or if who played the Doc? Why can't I think of his name? Do what?
No, I just said Doc Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I know who you're talking about, but his name's escaping me right now too.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. You know what's funny is every single year for Christmas for like the last few years, I get Jess autographed Back to the Future stuff.
You were telling me that. That's really cool. She seems like she's a real cinemaphile, huh?
She's got certain things she likes. So like Back to the Future, she loves the Golden Girls. Like
that's what you did last year or the year before?
I did a
Golden Girls
years. She has certain things that she loves, and I've always tried to kind of follow, but the problem with Back to the Future is I've pretty much got all the main characters' autographs at this point.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of that guy?
Have you got anything from Crispin Glover?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be hard because he wouldn't even take the part up again.
Yeah. I got Biff, his signature.
Yeah. That would be valuable to me, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the one where he played the Mad Dog.
Yeah, that's funny.
And he signed it as Mad Dog, which was pretty funny.
That's so cool.
And then Michael J. Fox, and then I can't believe I can't think of his name, but the Doc. Jess is probably yelling at me right now while she's listening to this podcast. But yeah, I got him, but I got his on the
I don't know
DeLorean.
why it's escaping me. I love that guy.
Think of it either. I do too. I can't believe I can't think of it. But I got his on an actual die-cast 1/8 scale DeLorean.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. Your homework, by the way, is to ask her if she's heard about long legs.
Yeah, I'll ask her because I'm shocked that I don't, because usually I hear about that stuff. It's a matter of whether I have time.
Everyone's talking about it here. Everyone.
Man, I'm shocked I haven't heard about it here then.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to take a little breaky break and go see it.
If I can ever find time, I got to get ahead with everything, Nick. Good night.
I know. Well, let me give you one last chance. Do you want to make a guess who we're talking about?
We went political. The Kennedys.
I want to swear so bad right now.
Why? Is it the Kennedys?
Play the next segment.
Way.
Just play the damn thing.
After living with generations of this curse, whether they took it seriously or not, the family had taken to having many children. For their time, this wasn't that unusual. More and more of the family began to drop, and in 1963, it claimed a half of an entire generation of the family with a single sound.
Good afternoon. There is only one headline today. President John F. Kennedy is dead. President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was shot to death today by a hidden assassin armed with a high-powered rifle. The 46-year-old president lived about 30 minutes after a sniper cut him down as his limousine left downtown Dallas. Newsmen said the shot that hit him was fired about 12:30 p.m. A hospital announcement said he died at approximately 1 p.m. of a bullet wound in the head.
The curse didn't stop with JFK. His brother Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated as well. The generation almost decimated. Car crashes, amputations, and more death and carnage followed. Some other famous families under generational curses include the family of Bruce Lee, the Osmonds, the Grimaldis. The list goes on and on. Do you believe in generational curses? If so, is it fair to punish others for the crimes of one?
So you got it.
Lucky. The only reason why I said the Kennedys?
Because you were running out of ideas, or?
Political? But then I thought, if I was to think of a cursed political family now, who would it be?
Right.
And the only person I could think of was John Kennedy, Bobby, and then, honestly, RFK. Because look at what's happened to RFK now.
Yeah. Just a quick unrelated thing. Christopher Lloyd is the name you were thinking of.
Dang it, Christopher Lloyd. That's it. Yep. And it's so cool. He signed the front of the DeLorean. The window or the doors pop open. I think the hood opens.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's on one of those little like plaque things. It's pretty cool.
So my experiment almost worked. If I hadn't asked you one last time,
I wouldn't have got it.
I think I would have got away with it. This is like Scooby-Doo, and if it wasn't for you darn kids, I would have got away with it.
Well, and again, like right now, RFK's had a lot of issues. Like he had that worm in his brain or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's abnormal.
It ate part of his brain. And he's got that voice issue, which is why he doesn't talk very well. And then obviously his father died. I mean, if you think about politically now, like that's probably the best example of a curse. Like you can't get more of a curse than that.
Right. I'm normally not super interested in that kind of thing, but I was flipping through stuff and I saw that origin story, which, I mean, some people say, oh, that didn't happen. Some people say, oh, yeah, that's definitely how it happened. But it's the only explanation I've heard of how they got their start, their financial start.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be fun to run with that.
I had zero clue.
If you think back now, you'll notice that I left out last names all the time because you'd know right away because it was Fitzgerald and Kennedy and that kind of stuff like that. So
you was leading us, Nick.
I was being sneaky. I was so close to pulling off the perfect experiment. But you know what? I got you going that long. I'm pretty proud of that. I think it worked out in the end.
The only thing that gave it away is political. If there was nothing about political stuff in there, I would have never got it because I've never heard that story before.
Yeah, if I had left out political entirely, I think it would have been kind of misleading. So I had to kind of put it in there.
Already misleading. What are you talking about?
Oh, I put every name in there. I just didn't put last names.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, first name basis only. That's right.
That's smart.
But so okay, let me ask you this. We've talked about.
I'm curious. Did our people get it?
Yeah.
Did anyone get it before me?
I don't think so.
Don't you lie in the comments down below. Don't you lie.
No, they didn't get it. Don't you lie. They didn't get it.
I'm curious how many people did get it that I didn't get it. I am curious about that.
I am too. I wonder if it's a shame. I shouldn't have asked again. I would love to have gotten all the way through. Because the big reveal was supposed to happen as soon as you heard that gunshot sound.
Yeah.
Right? That was going to be my big moment. I was going to cackle like a madman and go, ah!
I got you.
I got you. But so that's the story I wanted to weave tonight.
That's a very good story. You started to say something before I went off on the comment thing. What was you going to say?
I was. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I was going to say we've established that we both kind of think that generational curses are a thing. Do you think it's fair? A generational curse is fair, especially considering where it's coming from? Or is that not something you wouldn't want to comment on?
I don't know that it is fair, but what I've learned a long time ago is that life is not fair.
That is a fact.
So when you boil it into the entire thing, it's part of life, you know? It is what it is.
That's part of the design of it, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
And not everything's going to be fair. Or maybe it is fair and we can't tell what we have to give up to make it more fair in other ways.
That's true.
Right? Like,
that's very true.
If you were to stop a murderer, you're taking away some of the fairness to someone else or something, you know? Not that I agree with that, but like, how do you judge that kind of thing?
I don't know that you can, right? Like, I say it all the time. We can't be the moral compass in what's right and what's wrong because we don't know.
Right.
You know, I think we've had this conversation before. If The Walking Dead was wrote from Negan's point of view, we'd have a very different look at who Rick is.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So it's all
like he kind of gave him every chance in the world there.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah. But,
so it's all based on who's
interested. I'll be interested in the comments if people think it's fair and if people were tricked or not.
I'm dying to know.
That's what I want to know. Those two things.
I know somebody got it before me. I know they did. They had to.
I don't know. I think I fooled everyone. I got y'all. I know it.
I can tell you in my next one, Nick, I created the narration to see how long I can go before you figure out what the mystery is.
Oh, that's just what I just did. So this is like preemptive revenge somehow.
It kind of is, because the next one...
I guess life is fair.
I'll put it to you this way. The next one is a story about a number and a letter.
A number and a letter. A canine. A dog.
Could be. Or, like, if you're a Terminator fan...
there was T-1000.
There was Terminator 1, T1, T2, T3, right?
That's true. That's true. And we don't talk about the others.
We don't talk about the others. Correct. So maybe it's one of those. You just never know. We'll have to find out.
I guess I got to wait a whole week to find out.
Whole week. And at the end of it, like I say, if we don't talk about it for 6 months after that, I'm going to be shocked.
Now I'm real excited.
This is a Nick episode. This is an episode that I know you're going to love.
I can't wait.
Well, down in the comments down below, you got to tell us, did you figure out who it was? Did you know that this was an episode fully on curses, generational curses? What's your thoughts on generational curses? Are they one of those things where, you know, it is what it is? That's my favorite saying. It is what it is.
Until it's not.
Well, Nick, thank you for such an amazing episode. I had an absolute blast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being part of my experiment.
Hey, we love being part of the experiment. Until we see you on the next podcast, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Comes a tale of a curse that he'll unveil. He took the coins, held them tight, the shine. Couldn't see the cursed line. Ancient words did warn him clear. Take the gold, face darkest fear. Leave it buried, leave it deep in the ground where shadows creep, or face the wrath of spirits past. Steal the gold, your joy won't last. John ignored the warnings there. Took the gold, didn't care. Now his family felt the sting, cursed by shadows haunting. Cling, 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 cling. Cling, cling, clings, cling. Leave it buried, leave it deep in the ground where shadows creep, or face the wrath of spirits past. Steal the gold, your joy won't last. Sean ignored the warnings there. Took the gold, didn't care. Now his family felt the sting, cursed by shadows haunting. Cling, cling, cling. Cling, cling, cling.